PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to PACTV Community News. Tonight we take you to a photography event for charity in Plymouth, visit a Mad Hatter Tea in Duxbury, and we meet some gamers in Kingston for a Dungeons & Dragons event.
PCN meets a therapy dog in Pembroke who loves to be read to, and we stop by a brewing company that has recently expanded their business.
We stop into the 11th annual Holiday House Tour in Plymouth, and we meet Snowy the cat, who's featured in our pet adoption highlight segment.
Town Talk is from Plymouth Town Hall, but we begin with a lovely and unique charity event in downtown Plymouth. What began as an idea that one photographer had to provide holiday photos for less fortunate families has turned into a national movement called Help Portrait, and now the Treehouse Studio in downtown Plymouth has thrown their hat into the ring to take part this year. Thanks to social media and dozens of incredible volunteers, it was launched with great success. In fact, it went so well, Kristen Hughes-Craig announced that they would be doing it again next year. This is their story.
Help Portrait is a community of photographers, makeup artists, hairstylists, editors, I have event planners. They're coming together, donating their times and talent to giving families who could not afford to get family portraits done, not even at Sears, or couldn't even think of it. It's a luxury to them. But giving them an 8x10 when they leave here that day. I've also made other coordinations with the food bank. They're also going to leave with a bag of food and a portrait. And then Claychick just texted me this morning, and she's going to donate gift certificates for a free ornament that the families can go and make. It's supposed to be the first Saturday of December. It's supposed to be the beginning of the holiday season, which technically is the week after Thanksgiving and the week before Hanukkah. So it's right in the middle of when holiday really starts to roll.
This is not just an event we're having in Plymouth, it's a nationwide event, and it's been going on for, I think, about 4 or 5 years. And people, as Chris mentioned, they're underprivileged. They don't know what it's like to have a family portrait or a portrait of their child, and the fact they can now have it for free and know that people do care about, in the community, that, it's a great cause, and educating them, again, and having them realize, this is an event that we're coming together as a community to host.
I started letting everyone know, the people who I would start to kind of rely on back in the summer, and it took a lot of talking. That's why I started it in June, because nobody really knows about this event around here. So I have to talk a lot about it. I have to show videos about it from their website. And once they see it, they're like, oh my God, yes, sign me up. I want to do it. I want to help. What we expect to be taking away from this event is that we will have been bringing some glimmer of hope, some really coolness to this holiday season to families that otherwise could never get this ever. It's something that they wouldn't even have on their bucket list because they're too busy worrying about the bills and fuel and putting food on the table, which is completely normal. And I've been there. And doing this to me is like paying back to the other people who helped me back when I needed it.
That is such a great idea. I know as a parent, when my kids were little, one of the most important things was the holiday portrait we did of the family, and I'd send it out in Christmas cards. And nowadays it seems that everything's done online, and this gives those families a beautiful picture they can put on their mantle, they can put somewhere that captures it forever, and it's a physical thing. What a great and wonderful idea that was. This is just terrific.
And they're doing it next year.
I know.
I heard her make that announcement.
She did. She
in
promised.
the middle of it. She promised,
Yeah.
so we'll have to hold them to that. But boy, you talk about, just the organization involved in it.
Yes.
What we see from our standpoint is what happens in that one day.
Yep.
Which was, for the record, it was wild and crazy. For them, it's like herding cats, and they managed to pull it all together. But you were talking about months and months and months of
planning.
preparation, organization, getting the volunteer photographers to come in, getting the families that want to come in to do it, and making sure everybody has their time. It went off without a hitch.
And
did
they
a great
leave
job.
with the picture. That's what's so wonderful. They leave with an 8x10 of either their children or their family, and that's really a great gift.
Right, it really was. It was awesome.
Good for them. The Kingston Public Library hosted a Dungeons & Dragons gaming event for players 13 and over. Dungeons & Dragons is a card game that helps build communication skills and creates collaborative gaming environment with witches and wizards and dungeons and, of course, dragons. All who attended had a great time, and PCN dropped in to get the full story.
Oh, you rolled on. So you still roll a perception, a D20.
Today we're doing today's our first session of a Dungeons & Dragons gaming group that we're starting at the Kingston Library. And so far we've only been here for a few hours, but we've had a good time, and we're looking forward to it. We're hoping it's something that we can continue to do into the future. We've had a really good showing today. We've pretty much filled up our group for today. So we're really excited, and hopefully we'll get more and more as we move forward. And in this group, I'm participating in the group today. I'm actually playing, but I'm also, facilitating it and trying to bring like-minded people who share our interest in role-playing and Dungeons and Dragons. We're trying to give them a place where they can come and they can explore their interests and enjoy themselves as well. We put out a press release. We also posted on our Facebook page, and also just word of mouth, just talking to people, sort of gauging interest. Are there people who are going to want to play? And we found out that there is interest around here for this type of experience. So. Honestly, I'm new to it as well. So I've always been into the fantasy role-playing games and things like that. This is the first time I've played it, but one of the reasons why I think this type of game is so great is because it's really about the players using their imaginations, players putting themselves in someone else's shoes and trying to experience that. And I think that's it's better than sitting on the couch and watching TV or sitting down and playing video games. Although those things are great, I think it's nice to get out and have a conversation with somebody and use your imagination and interact socially with other people. The Medieval Starship is a gaming store in the Kingston collection, and that was who I reached out to when I first decided to run this program. And like I said before, I wasn't very familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, so I reached out to James over at Medieval Starship, and he's been awesome. He's been great in showing us how to play the game, and also, he brought all his own equipment, so we really had nothing to worry about. He's our leader here, he's guiding us through, and we're having a good time. You're communicating with other people, but I think even more importantly, you're working together with other people. You have a goal and you're making decisions, and everybody is inputting their what they think you should do into that decision making. So it's a good experience in teamwork, and it's a great time. I think that this is something that we'd like to do going forward. Have more of these type of events at the library. In addition to the RPG style type game, we'd also like to branch off into other types of board games. So we're looking for people out there who have an interest, who share an interest. And I think we'd like to find those people. So if you're out there, come to the Kingston Library.
Okay, so you're going to roll a D20. Yeah. And
When kids are first learning to read, it can be a little stressful when the only people they read in front of are their classmates and teachers, especially if they don't have great confidence in their reading skills. To find a non-judgmental audience for these kids that will just allow them to read, the Pembroke Public Library has been hosting events called Puppy Dog Tales. We stopped in to find out more.
We have here Puppy Dog Tales, which is open for all ages, even pre-readers up into high school. The kids just get a chance to discuss anything with the therapy dogs. Basically, the therapy dogs are there to listen while the kids read and practice their confidence in reading aloud or working out words if they're struggling a little bit. The therapy dogs are certified to just sort of sit and listen and be calm. So the kids get a chance to read aloud and practice their skills in either working out a certain word or phonic, or just practice reading aloud and gaining their confidence and self-esteem, while the dogs just calmly sit there and watch and accept pets. Puppy Dog Tales has been going strong every single month for 2 years now at the library. We have several trainers, a half a dozen about, and they always bring in their therapy dogs, and they're fantastic listeners just like the dogs. They'll talk to the kids, get them comfortable, and then we'll just start in on the reading. It's very, very fun.
Well, our dog is so docile and makes everybody happy that we just figured that it was kind of a great fit for it once we heard about it. And just started bringing them around, and it seemed to work really well. So we continued doing it, and it brings enjoyment to us and the people that get to see them. Some of the best parts are when that the kids end up knowing to feel comfortable around animals, and that it helps them build up courage to read. I think those are some of the real focal points that we're really trying to get across here, and that's what we've noticed, because a lot of the same people come. So it's great to see some of that progress along the way during the different times that they're here.
The kids in Puppy Dog Tales just get a chance to read and really build that love in one way or another, whether they really like dogs or they just are happy to have someone listen without judging them. They're just excited to be here, and it's really another facet of reading, just building up that love.
Linda Collins put together a Mad Hatter Tea Party event for MPH.USA, which is an organization that helps orphanages. This event is also working towards starting a Leo's Club in Duxbury and Marshfield. PCN stopped in to get the story.
Today I am having a Mad Hatter Tea Party, and the tea party is for NPH.USA. It is an organization that helps with orphans. They're in 6 countries, maybe 7 countries, and they take in the orphans and they raise them. So there's like brothers and sisters, they all get to stay together. They actually raise them and they educate them so they don't separate the families. My point of doing this today is I am trying to start a Leo's Club in Duxbury and Marshfield. And it was started in Duxbury, but now it's grown to Marshfield. So I'm doing Marshfield and Duxbury, ages 12 to 18. And the group, it's a youth group of the Duxbury Lions Club, the Lions Club. I know when I see something that needs to be done in my town in service, I really enjoy helping out my town, my community, and I see that this is something that will really benefit the town. Having a youth group like this where they keep busy in a positive way, they will interact in doing charity work, with their community. There's always something that needs to be done or helped in the community. I truly believe that this is a positive way to keep them busy, and I think it will really, it's just going to be a wonderful thing to do, and they're going to enjoy it. I know I've heard in surrounding towns that they say it's one of the best clubs they've ever been in. It's international, they'll get awards for being in this club, so I really think that it's something that I will definitely enjoy. I would like to thank everyone who helped me put this event together, especially Mary Jo Sacchetti. She is an amazing woman. She's helped me out, and I don't know what I would have done without her. I also want to thank all the wonderful sponsors who helped me too. Thank you so very much.
I'm working with people in Marshfield, and Linda is working with people in Duxbury. The clubs will be joined, so they'll be meeting in Marshfield one month, and then they will be meeting the following month in Duxbury. And I think it's important to get out to the teenagers that this is not a adult-centered club. This is going to be within parameters what the kids decide they want to do. I would just hope that the next time we do this event, that more people would respond, because it's an absolutely wonderful breakfast, followed by the tea party, in which there's going to be all sorts of tea sandwiches and goodies. So, but you know, we'd like more people to take part.
So, you think you've got some nice holiday decorations in your house this year? Would you be willing to let walking tours go through your home so you can showcase your stylistic talents? That's just what several homeowners did in the downtown Plymouth area as part of their holiday house tour to raise money for the Pilgrim Hall Museum. PCN hit the streets to check out the Hall's 11th annual holiday house tour.
Every year, Pilgrim Hall Museum puts on an annual holiday house tour. This is our 11th year of offering this event, and we invite local homeowners who have all kinds of different houses, some big beautiful houses, some little teeny cottages, to decorate them as they normally do for the season. And to benefit the museum, we can sell tickets for people to go through and enjoy this beautiful seasonal decor. I think a lot of the people that have made this their annual event, that come to it year after year, love to get in the inside of a private home and see just how beautifully people can decorate for the holidays in so many different ways. So you'll see a dining room table just beautifully laid out, Christmas trees decorated in different styles, or other holiday traditions being observed inside these households. And for the people going through, it's a great way not only for them to get into the holiday spirit, but to get some ideas about how they might want to serve their Christmas dinner or a way they might decorate their home for the season. So for people who are enjoying this event for the first time, and of course many of our visitors do come year after year and have made it part of their tradition, but every year we get some first timers, and I think they're really struck by walking through the door, being greeted as though they're part of the family, and having a chance to see a home that's been beautifully arrayed to welcome them and inspire them with the spirit of the season. And I know from some of the comments I've been getting, what people really enjoy is they're seeing all different kinds of houses. It's not just a big, shiny decorator show house, although we certainly do have some of those bells and whistles. But it's also, you know, more simple, sort of a at-home feeling in some of the houses as well. And people really, I think, enjoy that and feel part of something. Here in historic Plymouth, of course, there are many homeowners who have beautiful antique homes. And one of the ways that they like to experience that home is to decorate it for this special season. So we do have homeowners who just take great pride in having a beautiful old home in a very historic town. And then we have homeowners who have more modern homes, and they too, you know, like to share their decorating skills. One of the houses that we have this year is actually a 1962 ranch house, and it is decorated just perfectly to suggest that era, which many of us grew up with. So it really, really resonates, I think, with a lot of our guests.
It is so much fun to tour other people's homes. Any time of the year, I think it's fun, but especially when they have the holiday decorations up. And you did this story. What did you think?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I was under the impression that it would be one big group tour all at one time, and we would just kind of like go with X amount of people, 50 people going to all these different houses. That wasn't the case at all. In fact, it was a 2-day event, and over the course of the weekend from 10 a.m. to 4 in the afternoon. And any homes that you wanted to go to, if you bought the ticket for this, you could just show up between those hours. So, and they were placed all over the town. There was a map that you could look at that showed you where you were going to, and people might show up at the north part of town at such and such time. They go to this part, and there was all different houses, and it was really cool. And there were some big houses, small houses, but all the decorations were really exquisite. People put in extra effort. There were cookies out for people if they wanted. There was, you know, food and drink, and everybody was very welcoming. It was awesome.
Now, was this during the day versus at night?
Right.
So you couldn't see the lights. If people had tremendous outdoor light displays, which is another thing a lot of people like to do this time of year, is see the houses with the outdoor light displays.
I think if you went later in the day, because it's closing in on winter now, it gets darker earlier.
Sure.
I'm sure people were turning on their lights to give people some idea. It wasn't completely dark, but dark enough that you could see what it was going to be like when it got dark out.
Right.
Yeah,
and we have a beautiful town with beautiful old houses in it, so it must have been fun.
Yeah, it was great, you know, because now you're seeing places you may not have seen, and you're walking from
Yes,
place to place
yes.
to really get a taste of Plymouth. It was
Yeah.
a nice job.
Very good. Plymouth brewmeister Paul Nixon has gone from brewing his own beer in his own house for fun to mass producing beers in his home to opening his own microbrewery in Camelot Park. Next on the to-do list for Mr. Nixon, how about opening a store that sells the ingredients for other home brewers to make their own beer? Not just that, his new store will be the classroom for people to learn not only how to brew their own beer, but how to make other foods and drinks that go through the same fermentation process. We were there for the store's grand opening.
Tonight we're having the ribbon cutting ceremony for our new homebrew shop and fermentation studio. If you remember, Plymouth Homebrew Supply was downtown on Park Street and then moved back to her house. The rent was kind of too much for her at the downtown location, and eventually she decided she wanted to get out of the homebrew shop business and do other things. So we bought Tina's inventory and equipment and the business and moved it over here to Camelot Park right next to the brewery. So the brewery's been here now for a year. We started in my barn down in Cedarville, and we moved up to here just a year ago, opened the tap room the day after Thanksgiving last year, so 2015, and just added the homebrew supply shop in the last couple of months. So tonight is the ribbon cutting for that. I don't know how many million homebrewers there are in the country, but quite a few, and a lot in the South Shore in the local area. So a lot of people brew, say, 5-gallon batches at home on their kitchen stove, or maybe out in the shed, or whatever, out in the back patio when the weather's nice. A lot of people brewing beer, and in fact, that's really been a huge catalyst for the whole microbrewery and nanobrewery revolution that's happened in the country. So it's a really nice environment here. We knew being right near the Hearth Bread Company would be really good for us, because a lot of people, I mean, bread and beer is really the same thing. There's just more water and beer. So basically being near those guys was a good thing. Clay Chick Pottery's right here in the same cluster of buildings with us. Adding the homebrew shop and fermentation studio is another attraction for more people to maybe want to come here. Jolly Bean's fantastic place as well for food. And I hear Al's Backwoods Jellies is moving into Camelot Drive soon too. So yeah, we're really hopeful it'll become kind of a destination for foodies and craft beverage and things like that. And it's getting there, and hopefully we can be a catalyst to make sure that happens. The tap room here is family friendly and dog friendly. It's not really a bar, it's a tasting room. Down the homebrew supply shop, it's not just homebrew supply, which you kind of think of as being just a kind of bearded guys thing. It's also a fermentation studio and classroom space and everything as well. So we have classes there and fermentation for all kinds of foods. It's kind of where you learn the craft, learn the basis of how to make beer, and in fact that's why I started, was just to learn and appreciate how beer is made. That was like back in 1990 or so. And kind of took off and took over, and to the point where now I own a brewery and a homebrew shop.
Pet adoption highlight brings us to the Friends of the Plymouth Pound to meet Snowy.
This is Snowy. Snowy is about 1 year old. She's beautiful, blue eyes, and she actually gets along okay with the other cats, but she does think she's the queen of the adoption center. So they mostly stay away from her. She finds her own spots, but she's a very, very sweet cat, and she would make a great companion for someone. And she's, I don't know, she's perfect for the winter, we think, you know. So I don't know what else I can say about her, except, you know, she's up here at the Kingston Collection at our adoption center. And I will give the hours, because a lot of people come to the gate and we're not here, and we're open, because we're volunteer only, we're open from 10 to noon and 4 to 6 daily. So you could stop in and see Snowy and all of her other friends during those hours. We also have a pet food bank. If I could remind people, if you're having a little trouble with, especially during the holiday season, with funds, we do have supplies for people in need. They just have to come in and get the key to go to the back and get their dog or cat food. So if you know someone who needs help, definitely tell them about that. And don't forget that all of our pets are spayed and neutered. They've had the vaccinations, they're microchipped. They've been tested for any type of infectious disease. They're treated for fleas and they've been dewormed. They have just about everything they need, so they're ready to go home whenever you're ready to add a new pet to your family.
Town Talk takes us to Plymouth Town Hall for an update.
Hi, I'm Melissa Arrighi, the Plymouth Town Manager. We have a lot of exciting things happening in Plymouth right now, right before the holidays. I know many of you have had to put up with these construction projects throughout the whole fall season, and they're not over yet. As long as the weather is holding out, you're going to continue to see a lot of activity down on the T-Wharf, as our Director of Marine and Environmental Affairs, David Gould, is working on that project. That's a 2-year project, so it will be some time. In addition, Main Street, right downtown, we'll be still working on that town hall. Little behind schedule right now. That's not necessarily a bad thing, as we would prefer, I think it would be better for the town if we moved in the fall rather than moving in the summer, next summer during tourist season. We also have projects going on, road projects. Jonathan Beater, our DPW director, is still actively working on the whole sewer issue. We've made a ton of progress, and we'll be able to get you a full report in the spring on where we are with how we're going to pay for that $48 million expense. The great thing I can say about that project is Plymouth will have a highly sophisticated, redundant sewer system, and that's really important both environmentally and for public safety purposes and just regular services to our customer base. The other thing is, if you take a look at the Chamber of Commerce website, we have so many activities happening in Plymouth that you can go to and see friends, acquaintances, people visiting the town. So we look forward to seeing many of you at some of those events. And if you take a look at that website, hopefully I'll see you at one of them.
Thanks for watching this week. Replay times can be found at PACTV's newly designed website.
Be sure to follow us on social media or catch the stories on YouTube. See you next week for more PACTV Community News.